Hey guys, Mr. Happy here, and welcome to my guide for Wanderer's Palace Hard Mode, a new dungeon added in patch 2.5. This dungeon requires a minimum item level of 90 to enter, as well as doing the quest, Not Easy Being Green, in Mordona. The trash in this dungeon is made up of mostly mammal jaw and their pets, which include cockatrices, pugils, and weaverays. Just dodge any AoEs they put out and be prepared to have to kill enemies to open paths ahead. After killing a handful of trash pulls, you'll find yourself at the first boss. The first boss of Wanderer's Palace is Frumious Kohil Jah. This boss is all about spreading out and ensuring to kill the spears that he summons. The boss himself will just attack and do the occasional cleave attack on the tank. Sometimes he'll turn to a random party member and throw a flaming Engen at them, dealing some damage to them and anyone nearby, so just don't stand near party members. Early on, the boss will start throwing sacred spears at the four corners of the room. These spears will pulse a room-wide AoE that places a stacking dot on everyone if they aren't killed, so just take care of them when they spawn. Now, if the spear isn't killed quickly enough, the boss will rush over to it, dealing some damage and knocking away anyone in his path before throwing another spear. And the final thing he will do at low HP is throw AoEs at people, and if it hits them, it'll pacify and silence them for several seconds. Just dodge these, kill the sacred spears, and kill the boss. Now, every set of trash mobs between the first and second boss will be sitting on sacred standards. When enemies are inside of the standards AoE, they deal more damage and take less damage. All tanks have to do is pull the enemies out of the standard so you don't have to take time killing them. Other than that, it's fairly straightforward trash, just more of the same. After passing several packs and standards, you'll come to the second boss. The second boss of Wanderer's Palace Hard Mode is Slithy Zulul Jah. This boss has a somewhat random factor in his major mechanic. For the most part, Zulul Jah will just use Ground Burst on random party members for high AoE damage and cast Fire and Fire Spit on the main tank. He'll then constantly summon several sacred standards around the room that all have different color auras and different types of totems. Your goal at the start of the fight is to figure out which aura does what, as each time you do the fight, results will slightly vary. One totem will inflict heavy, one will inflict fire resistance down, one will turn people into toads, and one will grant a damage boost. Each totem can only be triggered once. The main goal is to identify which of the totems gives the damage boost and have your DPS grab these totems to help kill the boss faster. In my 4 runs of this dungeon, I've had it be the white totem or the green totem. Now, if you do not absorb these damage totems, the boss will eventually do it for you and just gain the buff for himself, which you don't want. Now, once you've identified which totem does what, you'll want to avoid the slow totem and especially the fire resistance totem, as it makes all of the boss's fire-based abilities hit much harder. Later in the fight, the boss will begin casting Toad on a single party member. The person who becomes a Toad can run into the Toad totem that spawns to return to normal. Beats waiting out the debuff. Just keep avoiding the bad totems and absorbing the good ones, and the boss will go down pretty fast. The final set of trash is mostly the same at first, though eventually you'll have to free some Tonberries with a key. These Tonberries open up the sewer of the palace with a constant poison aura where a giant slime is guarding the switch to lower the water ahead. Killing the slime will remove the aura and let you activate the switch, though as you are killing it, several smaller slimes will spawn that spam a stacking poison debuff on their attacks. Just kill everything in whatever way is comfortable for you and hit the switch. At this point, just do the remaining few trash pulls and you'll come to the final boss. The final boss of the dungeon is Manzo Mula Jaja. This boss will require a lot of kiting around and a lot of status effects. Now, the boss uses standard attacks and a multi-hit attack on the tank occasionally. He also has a giant conal AoE called Tyrannic Blare, which he will use on a party member, which stuns and increases a player's vulnerability to magic if it hits them. Stay close to the boss so this attack is easier to dodge when he uses it. Now, often throughout the fight, Mula Jaja will drop standards like the ones from earlier in the dungeon. You'll just want to pull him out of these like you did the trash packs before him, rotating him around the room each time he summons one. Sometimes, he instead summons an idol which will have a tether to him. These need to be killed ASAP. Now, as the fight goes on, he's going to alternate between 2 attacks called Rot Gas and Soul Douse. Rot Gas occurs in a small AoE around the boss and inflicts poison and disease. Eventually, Mula Jaja will also target someone with Rotting Lung, which will cause them to explode with the Rot Gas debuff as well when he uses it, so have them stay away from other party members when they're affected by it. The other move I mentioned, Soul Douse, targets a single player and hits them moderately hard while also giving them the Doom debuff. In order to remove Doom before the player dies, they just need to be healed to full health. The last thing you'll have to watch out for is at 50% the boss will summon 2 Silver Scale Zeniths, which spam Ground Burst in an AoE on the party. This extra damage is troublesome, even more so if you have been hit by Tyrannic Blare, so just kill them when they spawn. Just keep moving them out of the standards, dealing with Rock Gas, Soul Douse, and the idols, and you should win pretty easily. Thank you for watching this guide. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share, and check out the rest of my patch 2.5 guides that I've been posting since the patch dropped. Anyway guys, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Take care.